I think Crystal Palace are relegated. Roy Hodgson was appointed as Crystal Palace manager in September 2017 and has overseen more than 160 competitive fixtures for them. This is more than the combined total of his four immediate predecessors in Frank de Boer, Sam Allardyce, Alan Pardew, and Tony Pulis. Roy Hodgson holds the record for being the oldest manager in the English Premier League, and his wisdom has shone. Palace chairman Steve Parish is one lucky man. His appointment brought stability, structure, and solace in a time where they had lost their opening four games. In that record breaking season, they finished 11th. Since then, the team has moved from strength to strength. The team has looked cleaner, crosses are more accurate, errors at the back are few and far between, dribbles are more effective, players are more professional. The team isn't performing out of frustration. Everything is calculated and composed. During Hodson's tenure, he signed Guaita, Kouyaté, and Eze Ichebe, who went straight into the first team. He gave Jason Puncheon and Gary Cahill two more top-flight seasons. He promoted Tyreek Mitchell and Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka went for £50 million in just one season. Hodgson also recreated Townsend, Zaha, and Benteke. Their breakthrough came in the 2018-19 season. Off the pitch, they got picked up by Puma, introduced the Box Park, and formalized the Selhurst Park redevelopment plan. On the pitch, Roy served up his three-course. For starters, we saw Zaha really coming into his own and playing fearlessly. The main course was Aaron Wan-Bissaka's crunching tackles. Dessert came in the form of Townsend's sweet volley at the Etihad, which was the Premier League goal of the season. Hodgson handed Guardiola his first home loss of the season, who were 9 for 9 at the Etihad ahead of that fixture. The team never looked back. It was around this time that you saw players like Michi Batshuayi and Seng Tosin, who may not have wanted to play for Palace, but wanted to play for Roy Hodgson. In the 2019-20 season, James MacArthur on 88 and James McCarthy on 82 ranked 5th and 6th from all Premier League midfielders for tackles. James MacArthur comes in second from all Premier League players for fouls committed. Zaha ranked first for attempted dribbles and second for successful dribbles from all Premier League players. Milivojevic ended the season on 12 yellow cards, the most of any player in the English top flight. Zaha was fouled 120 times. Only Jack Grealish of Aston Villa was fouled more, on 167. In the 2020-21 season, Palace's lack of rotation options were exposed. They have a small squad and sometimes struggle to fill their bench with experienced first-team players. This is a club that has almost a decade of playing in the Premier League, and yet I don't see any ambition or hunger from them or their owners. Look at the teams like Leeds or Brighton. They want to fight. They want to compete. They've got that hunger in them. I don't see that in Palace. Palace haven't adapted, and I'm convinced that they are going to get relegated or at least spend quite a bit of time around the bottom of the log. Defensively, I prefer not to speak. They do have a solid keeper in Vincent Guaita, but I think he's going to concede like around 60 goals or more. Palace have had a massive squad exodus. They have signed 2 centre-backs so far. They brought in 21-year-old Mark Guehi from Chelsea. He doesn't even have a Premier League minute to his name, so I'm not sure how he's going to perform for them. Perhaps he will be a hit like Tariq Lamptey, who signed for Brighton from Chelsea, but I don't think this is going to happen. Palace also signed Joachim Anderson, who spent last season plying his trade on loan at relegated Fulham. Honestly, Palace haven't sorted themselves out defensively for ages. Cahill was a short term replacement who probably signed to remain in the English top flight. Then there's his centre back partner, Incheku Koyate, who isn't even a defender to begin with. Now, maybe, and I mean maybe, could they sign David Luiz? I think he could really help them out. Palace are going to fall short in the season, and I think they need cover in this area. They desperately need someone to shield their inexperienced defense. Given Palace's constraints, I think the best they can do is Mohamed Besic. I don't know if he has the legs to complete a full 90 week in, week out. He hasn't played much league football or football in general, but they need someone in their midfield with some experience. I think Fabian Balbuena will give them the same dimension that Van Arnold did, so they should do everything to capture his signature. Michael Olise has joined them from Reading. Olise was included in the PFA Championship Team of the Year and is the Championship's Young Player of the Season. He, alongside Chelsea loanee Conor Gallagher, will look to progress the team and get them on the front foot. They are without Eze Ichebe until about November, and I'm sure the team will feel his absence. Did you know Conor Gallagher has picked up the second most number of yellow cards last season with 11, and Eze attempted and completed more dribbles than Zaha. Speaking of Zaha, he has 2 seasons left on his current contract and will turn 29 at the beginning of November. I don't think anyone is going to sign him. I think season after season, Palace's valuation has been something of a mismatch. Now, if Palace are to stay up this season, Zaha can't do it all by himself up front. He will need someone who is on the same wavelength as him, and I think they have such a player. Zaha and Ayew were in the top 5 for interceptions from Premier League attackers in the 2019-20 season, which shows they are capable of reading off the same hymn sheet. Ayew is going to be pivotal for them this season, and I back him to perform should he stay fit. If Ayew plays well, the team plays well. I think he can be their most important player, and I hope Vieira uses him well. I'm sure they will offer him a contract extension, or perhaps he may look to set up shop elsewhere. This is his last season on his current contract, and he will turn 30 in September. Alan Pardew attempted to transform a side whose forte was built on counter-attacking into a more possession-based team. Those intentions were more of a long-term vision and perhaps echoed the desire to evolve. Frank de Boer tried to imprint on the team, but results suggested his implementation was far from smooth. Vieira faces many challenges in this current Palace squad. He has to change their style, bring in youth or academy players, and match Hodgson's results, who had effectively created a survival machine. You can hardly call his work at Nice as a blueprint for this current team. The man has no Premier League experience, as a manager, of course. In Vieira, I think they mean well. But if they mean business, appoint Nigel Pearson. Until we meet again.